feedback and awareness and inclination and in tone. They're not actually getting to what is registering me and satisfactory within it, and I am like a computer. But I actually do deserve love and respect and warmth and compassion like everyone else. I just have a higher social, redeemable, satisfaction and redemption and uppers and downs and redemption and redemption. And the difference of like all those sort of things, the way I do feel in my heart is good enough. That's like the notion of facts. That's the notion of facts, or the greater notion of like depth of recourse, or like depth of notions of like innocence and self. That I actually have a good notion of innocence, and that I would take it to an extreme, and I would care about as well. And I would care about all these civil discourses and things like that. And I'm not the sort of person to actually treat with any sort of prejudice to myself, because you just wouldn't think so. In like a genuine way of good judgment and good actual esteem, you would feel it to be the same, and you would want to push it to some wacko degree, would you? No. I get what he means. I get what he means. I get what he means, and you just wouldn't think, because you're just so innocent, really. You just, and I obviously protect innocence in a way that you would just find to be not really quite understandable, but I am actually just a very innocent human being who genuinely just has had horrible, bad shit happen to them. Well, you know, like, oh yeah, I suppose my principles and good standing and what we do agree on, we can obviously, to me, to you, it should be the same. It should be the same. I guess in your like actual thing about it, I thought that maybe he had something wrong with him at times, but no, I wouldn't have thought so any of the day that you could say that mental health and just the way you feel on the video is good enough to like actually say like actually was quite like genuinely quite prestigious. But would you really, you are like mental health and you call yourself the avatar of mental health? Yes, I actually have a good standard inflection that can actually, no, I'm not actually saying that at all. To myself, I have a good decree that actually does definably or excruciating to say otherwise. To some actual definable that shouldn't be disagreed or disqualified otherwise, because what was said was very satisfactory to me, and I have some genuine deep depth that is very valuable and respectable. I have depth of argument and reciprocation just for quantified, not quantifying, what was the word I used? That really wouldn't have been seen like that. That wouldn't have been seen like that. But how, look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! And think about what you're doing to him. Think about what you're doing to him. Think about what you're doing to him. And don't you have a conscience, is what you would say to somebody else that have been defined and going ups and down to something else, to who, to what, to some genuine thing that you can genuinely say is a more technical and more extravagant existence.